Okay, we are now recording. So we're going to go ahead and start our first segment of the Let's Talk Live series. And this series will run all of March, which is Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month. Well, not all of March, because one Thursday I have a prior engagement. So Thursday evenings at 6 o'clock Central Standard Time, we'll be here talking about colon cancer, caregiving stories, as far as taking care of someone battling colon cancer, survivorship, and then our last segment will have an Ask the Expert segment. But I wanted to do this initially because I get asked a lot, what is this? What is this you're doing? Why are you doing it? How you get started? So I wanted the first segment to just give you a little bit more insight into how Cassandra Cares Cancer Foundation started and why. And then we'll talk a little bit about my own story with caring for my mom. And then I'll be joined by Chandra, who is my sister. She was mom's primary caregiver for certain parts of the journey, but more so toward the end. So Cassandra Cares Cancer Foundation, it is a nonprofit. It's named after my mother, whose name was Cassandra, and she did lose her battle to colon cancer in 2021. I believe the diagnosis was 2018. And I see Chandra's on here. Please correct me with these dates because I have a whole lot of dates circling through my head if I get it wrong. I want to say it was 2018. What started as a visit to the ER was then a surgery, an appendectomy, which then turned into a colon cancer diagnosis. And she was diagnosed at stage 3. And I think if I can remember, I think my initial reaction was more of a, oh, what? So, like, well, what's next? I don't think I had like a sense of panic at the time because we didn't really have enough information for me to just panic. But then, it came out that it was stage 3, and I was like, okay, well, what do we do? Like, what's our next step? And I think we were all just kind of ignorant to just cancer as a whole. And like, what does this mean? What do we do next? What's going on? So she did, in fact, do a round of chemotherapy. And I can remember there being times where she couldn't have her treatments because her white blood cell counts would be low. And I believe my sister aided in some injections, like she had to do injections to get her white blood cell count up so that she could get her treatments. I remember going to treatments. I remember her going to a treatment by herself, and I was highly upset about that. So she completed the first round. Of course, everybody was, ecstatic and happy about that. She even texted me a picture of her certificate that she got when she completed. But then the cancer came back. Or, they went back. I guess you do like follow up and scans and stuff, and the cancer was back. And this time a little bit more aggressive. I remember there being a surgery where they tried to, I guess, interrupt the path that they thought it was moving. So they removed like her reproductive organs, thinking it was going to go that route, but it went in a whole different direction. So we dealt with liver, it was just aggressive. I don't remember if we did, Chandra, if you're on, I don't remember I don't think she did a full-on chemo the second time around, I'm not sure, but I remember her taking pills. And like, they just basically, at this point saying there was nothing more we could do. So one day in February, we just kind of threw a Hail Mary and decided to take her to UAMS to see if someone else could tell us something different than what we were being told. They could not. That day, they did some labs. We were at that hospital all day. They did some labs. Labs came back. By the time I got her back home, that her potassium was like really, really low, like dangerously low. and she needed to go to the ER. She went to the ER that night, and nothing was the same after that. And they called my sister probably 2 days later, and said that they were giving her 2 weeks to live. So they gave her 14 days. She gave us 13 days. And so in that 13-day period, she was at my sister's house, and she was the one that was primarily caring for her during that time. But this is why Cassandra Cares Cancer Foundation came about. It was more so because I won't say that there were no resources available. I just don't think they were readily available to us, or maybe we just didn't know how to access them. So the foundation was kind of to assist other families in that regard, to where if they receive a diagnosis, they know what to do next, where to go to get assistance, things like that. So it was kind of a reactive approach to it all. And then putting our heads together, we were like, well, maybe we should try to approach it proactively. And so we kind of evolved into the raising awareness and doing the education and, traveling to different cities to talk about it, because it's really not talked about enough. And if you've seen the website, you've seen where the statistics are showing right now, colon cancer is the #1 cause of death in men under 50, and #2 for women in the same age group. And it's still not something that's being talked about enough. So we're trying to do our part locally to have those conversations, to educate our communities on this disease, which is sometimes asymptomatic, to let them know the importance of getting their screenings and getting their screenings on time, letting them know the different options of screenings. Like, because a lot of people hear colon cancer and they're thinking, I don't want to go have no colonoscopy. Okay, well, if you don't have to, there are other options that you can utilize to just make sure that you're knowing what's going on with your body. So that's why Cassandra Cares Cancer Foundation came about. What we do, like I said, is just go to different cities here in Arkansas. These are underserved communities who won't have those resources readily available to them. We see a lot of organizations that they want the people to come to them. But I've learned that transportation is also a barrier. Finances it's a barrier. So who's the people who's going to these people? So that's what we choose to do through the foundation. I will get in the car. We will drive to these areas and we will talk about it. So that's what we're doing. We also are able to provide free testing kits to people who are at least 45 years old, who do not have a first degree or second degree relative who has had colon cancer, or don't have any history of colon cancer. We can provide those free stool-based testing kits for them, and that's part of what we do. So hopefully that gave you a little bit more insight into why Cassandra Cares Cancer Foundation even exists, what we're doing, what we plan to do. There are a lot of things that I plan to do. As you know, as a nonprofit, we have to rely heavily on the community to help us make these things happen. So that's why I'm always, trying to get people to join a committee, donate, volunteer, fundraise, or whatever, so that we continue to do the work. We can continue to do the work in the community. So, any questions about Cassandra Cares Cancer Foundation or what we do before we move on to caregiving? All right. So I'm going to unmute. Chandra, you can unmute. I've already kind of introduced you, but
okay,
Chandra
I'm sorry. I was having trouble getting on. I'm so sorry.
And the Zoom is being recorded. Mrs. Chandra Stewart, as I said, is my sister, and she was Mom's primary caregiver for a lot of her journey, and really, really toward the end. So I wanted you to have opportunity to share what that journey was like, from physical, mental, emotional, what it's like caring for someone with colon cancer or just cancer, period.
Me? Oh, okay.
Yes, you.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, yeah. So beforehand, before my mom was diagnosed with cancer, I had always been caring for patients that Some of them had cancer, some of them did not. So that was my thing for years. But it's different when it's your mom. And I felt, I don't want to say pressure, but I felt yeah, I'm gonna say a little pressure when she asked me to be her caregiver because it's my mom, like I know the job, you know what I'm saying? I've been doing it for 20 years. So, but when it's your mom, it's like, I don't know, you just want the best of the best, right? So, but yeah, so it was difficult, but it was also rewarding, I guess, to um just to, care for her, spend that time with her, um and just it brings out a different light, even though it's a sad situation and it's a grieving process. Really, it also brings joy in a sense, if that makes sense. um so and what's your other question?
Just to explain what it's like caring for someone with that, which you did. Um, I know I was witness to a lot of those days, and I could tell there were some rough days. And like you said, it's real different when it's your parent. But I knew that I wasn't. I'll be the first to tell you that wasn't me. Like I couldn't I couldn't have done it. So it was rough enough just knowing what was going on, but to be there with her like daily, taking care of her, like I know that was a lot. But I just wanted you to have opportunity to like share, like for example, what would a normal day look like?
Okay, so I guess before it became more full-time, a normal day would just be like, I would call, check on her, make sure she was good, see if she was able to eat something. A lot of times, she wasn't. So I would try to, like, after work, come bring her some things and maybe see if she can get some nutrients some type of way with different um fruit or vegetable and stuff like that. So I would go over there. She would have to get a shot. Um,
Because you were doing
and
the injections for her white blood cells, right?
yes, um, so she would have to get a shot every day. Um, well, first I think it was twice a week, actually, 2 or 3 times a week.
Mhm.
Um, so I would do that, and then just sit and really try to talk to her and get her mind off what she's going through. You know what I'm saying? Just let that moment be, not just where I'm there just caring for her, but just also company to memories, talking about memories, just trying to bring light to the situation. And then once it started being more permanent, once we got down to the point where she didn't have too much longer and she came over to the house, um, then a day would look like just trying to get up in the morning, get her dressed, get her out the bed, sit on the couch, let her watch TV. I remember it was snowing and I let her watch the snow. Ooh, you
Mhm.
finna make okay. Sorry.
Let's take a second. Miss Cheryl has her hand up. You have a question?
Yes, good evening, everyone. So, yeah, I commend you. Is it Sandra or Chandra? Sandra,
Chandra.
Chandra.
Sandra, for being a caregiver, because I know it's not easy. But did your mother? I don't know the time frame in which she was diagnosed and how long she lived after that. I think I missed that. But did she have a colostomy or anything? Did you have to do any changes, or was that just a white blood
No,
shot?
she didn't do, we didn't have to do a colostomy bag. The diagnosis, it was 2018, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was 2018 and she passed February of 2001.
2001.
Yeah. I'm sorry, 2021.
Okay. 2020.
2000, Shannon,
I was
is
gonna
that
say,
right? 2018?
Yeah, she was
okay.
diagnosed
Okay.
2018.
Wow.
Hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
I remember like where I was and exactly like where I was sitting when either my brother or her husband, somebody called me when she was in the ER, and I was like, oh, she must be really not feeling good, because if you knew mama,
She didn't go to,
she
she didn't
wouldn't
like
want
to
the
go to the doctor. Yeah.
doctor.
And I
Oh,
believe she was at, was she already level 3, stage 3 when she got
yeah, she was
diagnosed?
stage 3 at diagnosis, yes.
Hmm. Yeah.
So Miss Cheryl is a survivor, so I'm glad she's on
Well,
the
great,
on the
great,
call.
great,
Yeah.
great.
But
Sorry,
yeah,
y'all.
that was the time span. It was, I want to say like summer-ish 2018, and then she passed
Mhm.
in February 2021.
Wow, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah. But I remember for people who may be looking at this later, Chandra, can you tell them why it was important for her to get the injections for the white blood cell cancer?
Uh, well, for one, it was for to boost her immune system up so she'll be able to continue to get through the radiation treatments um and stuff. So, oh, sorry, it's a process. I mean, and this the process when you have a family member or any loved one that's going through that. Um, I mean, it's up and down. It's up
Yeah.
and down because I remember when she finished chemo.
The
She
first,
fin-
yeah, that round of chemo.
yeah, and she finished and she got her certificate and stuff, and she was excited. I was excited. She sent me a picture of it. And to me it felt like, okay, closer to her being here, like close to her being in overcoming it.
Mhm.
But then, well, how long ago was it me before it came back? It came back like really.
It
It
was
came back strong.
it was what?
When it came back really strong. But how long? What
It
was
was
the?
it I don't it was like, I don't even think it was a whole year.
Yeah, I don't either.
I didn't think it was a whole year.
I don't either. I don't think it was a whole
I
year.
re-
And so,
I can't get like all the dates together, but I can tell you like where I was and what I was doing when she told me.
yeah,
And I was like,
yeah,
what?
yeah,
But yeah,
yeah.
and
So
it came back, and it came back really aggressive. And I was sharing with them the surgery she had where they were trying to kind of intercept the path when they
yeah,
removed her reproductive organs and stuff. But no, it went a whole different direction.
yeah,
So
yeah.
Kendra has her hand raised.
Hello guys. This is actually to, well, both, Shan and Shamika. And Shan, I really your emotions really resonate with me because I think that we're all in a very unique, I hate to say it, club, but it is.
Yeah.
So I was a caregiver for my mom. Wasn't cancer, but she was a stroke victim for 6 years. And of course, my dad had prostate cancer, so I can kind of dip into the emotions that you and Shamika are feeling. Um, but I am very proud of the both of you in what you're doing to honor the legacy of your mother and to spread awareness.
Mhm.
And I was just kind of wondering, like, because I know it's still very clear, the feelings are still very raw. I don't think those are ever going to go away. Even just kind of reminiscing on the time spent, and being a caregiver is it's bittersweet. Have you guys ever thought, and I think I hadn't even brought this to Shamika's attention, have you ever thought about collectively, like in a group, having some type of support group within all of us who have kind of walked in the shoes that you have in terms of caring for a parent, or even having the unfortunate experience of losing a parent?
It is something that I want to start through the foundation. It is a goal for Q3 of this year. However, I have to be realistic about where the foundation is right now financially, if that's possible. So I do have that, like, to be continued. But that is something that I want to do for other families. But in that same process, I will be in the midst of
Mhm.
them for that support and in those conversations. So yeah, it is something that I want to do.
Oh, very good.
That's a good idea too, Kendra.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
caregiving as a whole, no matter, what the illness or the disease is, it takes a really special, strong, unique person
Mhm.
to do that. And we have to remember that those caregivers need to be checked on too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because like I remember as I was caring for her when she was here at the house, um, I mean, I was enjoying the time with her. I was I was doing my job. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
I didn't really process what was, like that I was losing my mom.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
So whew, so after the fact, oh, it's bad.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
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 And you know what I think I experienced, Shannon, and now I'll share this because this is something over the years I really had to come to grips with, and actually be in a place to actually forgive myself and really pray through that. But going through what I went through with my mom and being a caregiver, it was me, my older sister, and my dad, and we took 24-hour care of my mom, and I was so young. I was like in my 20s, and there still is lingering guilt. Like I was not the best daughter. There was a level of selfishness. There was a level of resentment, and not even more so towards her, but just even towards the illness
Yeah.
and incapacitating her to a way to where she had no quality of life. So I really had to come to grips with trying to figure out, God, like how could you have harbored those type of feelings or even treated your mom a certain type of way?
Yeah.
Forgive
Yeah.
your
We have a few minutes left on here, but this is why I wanted to do this segment, to start off with this segment, because it's a good thing to have someone caring for you in your time of need. But I feel like caregivers need to be acknowledged, caregivers need to be checked on. Um, we're not okay. We're not okay. And so like I said, I can remember, different things that, was going. I remember, feeding her the sherbet. Mama said she wanted some sherbet, and I said, ain't nobody gonna tell me my mama not gonna eat the sherbet. She
Yeah.
said she wanted, she about to get this sherbet.
Yeah. And look, we were just excited that she ate that doggone sherbet too. I remember that. And I never told you too, Shamika. I probably did, but that night you came over and you stayed with her on my anniversary, and me and my husband went out. I really, 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 really appreciated that. Like that, I needed that. I needed that more than I know I did. Sorry,
Yeah.
am I so emotional?
You
Goodness.
good, you good. Yeah,
But yeah.
I was glad. I remember I crawled up in the bed with her and everything, and Derek was sitting on the couch over in your chair somewhere asleep. But I just laid up in the bed with her. We were just laying there and let y'all go do y'all thing. But anyway, anybody else has anything? We got a few more minutes. Chandra, were you able to say what you wanted to say, or is there anything else you want to add?
Yeah, that was it. Pretty much. But
I
yeah,
know
I
this
think
was
that
rough for you, but I think
it
it
was.
was kind of needed at the same time.
Yeah, yeah. And just piggybacking a little bit off what Kendra was saying about support, support group. I think that's something that's really, I don't know if it's any like support groups out for, um, is it like loved ones of people
There's
that,
support groups out there, but it's broad. For me, I wanted to just kind of focus in on one specific thing, but there are support
right?
groups out there for like patients, and I believe they're open to their caregivers too.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. But I wanted to have my own little unique spin on it because I wanted to do the yoga in there and I wanted to do the meals with the support.
Yep. That'd be real good.
TBD.
That'd be real good though.
Yeah. Anybody
Well,
else?
thanks for the invitation. I just want to say thanks for the invitation. It was very interesting, to hear. Then for Kendra, I hope you pray through that and that forgiving yourself. My daughter hated being the only child because she had to come from North Carolina to see about me. She wasn't our primary caregiver. It was just like, oh Lord, I gotta go to Maryland. So, but Kendra, you did what you at the time, you did what you knew, and so just prayerfully you have gotten past that, and you can be strong and move forward.
Real quick before we go, what's your name?
Miss Cheryl?
Nate, Cheryl.
Oh, Miss Cheryl, I'm glad that you overcame your battle with cancer. When were you diagnosed and how long did you battle with that before overcoming it?
I currently live in White Plains, Maryland, which is 25 miles south of Washington, D.C. And actually my doctor misdiagnosed me. This has been 11 years ago. I was 56 years old.
And I got a segment that she's going to be on to share a lot more too.
He misdiagnosed me at first. So, and I had some symptoms, but, so now it's just, more scans and all that. And every time I have a colonoscopy, I have to get a scan. I get nervous. So, and I just appreciated my caregiver because she took notes at every doctor's appointment.
Yeah.
And all I heard was cancer, cancer, cancer.
Yeah, you don't hear anything past that.
Right. That's so true.
All right, Talaya, real quick, and then it's probably it's 6:30. Talaya, real quick.
Talaya.
Hi, you all. Okay, so I do have some questions for Miss.
Hey, TT baby.
Hey, Miss. Is it Miss Alston? Miss Alston?
Yes.
Okay. Hi. How are you?
Good. How you doing?
I'm good. So I just wanted to know, what were some of your symptoms before that you might have mistaken for something else that was a symptom that you had before you were diagnosed?
Yeah, that was a good question. I was at work one day and my slacks were tight around my waist, and I said, "Gary, gotta lay off the biscuits." But I was getting so nauseous. My office was maybe 15 minutes from, so I came home and I changed clothes, put on some elastic pants, but then I threw up. It's like I pulled over the side of the road and I was throwing up. The right side of my stomach was hurting, and it was periodic. So I could be laying on the floor watching TV, and my friend would say, "What are you doing?" And so I'm pressing in on the right side, saying, "If I press it in right here, it takes the pain away." And so that was one of the things. I didn't have blood in my stool or anything, but it's that right side pain. And after doing some research, I see that African Americans, we have that right side for some reason.
And I think that's crazy. Like when you say you didn't have any blood in your stool or anything, because that's one of the main things that they, tell you to look out for, being real gassy, blood in your stool, irregular bowel, always feeling full, stuff like that, always feeling like you can't finish doing number 2 enough, So, but that's I think that you didn't even experience that.
Any of that, just throwing up. And my doctor said when he took my labs, he said I was lactose intolerant. And I just said, you know what, let me get a colonoscopy just to check it out. So thank you, Ms. Brown, for that. Yeah, for that question. Because if you are 45 years old and you don't have any symptoms, then still get a colonoscopy. But it's for younger people who are in the 20s and 30s. Somebody's son just passed away not long ago at 13 years old from stage 4. Why is that? And then we have 30-some-year-olds who the doctors will say, "Man, you know what? You eat healthy, you go to the gym, you're good." And they refuse to give a colonoscopy because they're not 45. So
Right.
yeah, so if you're having any kind of stomach issues, you go to get a colonoscopy to confirm that you don't have colon cancer.
Mhm.
That's the key right there.
Okay,
Mhm.
thank you.
And just hearing that, in a lot of days, I look back and in retrospect, I'm like, with mom, the signs were there.
It
If
was
you think about it, now that we know, but like I said, we were
definitely.
so ignorant to everything at the time. But now that we've kind of, gone through it, done research, learned a bunch of different things, I look back like, yeah, signs were there.
But
Yeah.
and Shamika, when you say that, when my doctor, now when you take regular lab works, they don't check CEA. The CEA is the number that shows cancer. So what he said was, see this number right here? Well, that shows cancer, but you don't have cancer, you're lactose intolerant. In my mind, I didn't know to say, well, why does it show cancer if I don't have
Yeah,
cancer?
why is it a thing? Why is it even
Right.
there?
And I went home saying, hey, I was throwing up so much because I'm lactose intolerant. The doctor says I don't have cancer. So that's why I'm such an advocate now, because I didn't know to ask those questions
Yeah.
11 years ago.
Yeah. And that's what we're here for. That's what we're here for. Well, I definitely appreciate those of you who joined, who even participated in the conversation. Chandra, thank you so much. I know that was hard for you. I'm glad you were able to get through it. I hope it was helpful at
Yeah.
least. Miss Cheryl, you and I will be talking really soon, and we'll have your segment March 21st.
March 21st.
Okay.
Put that down. And I just did a new YouTube. I don't know if you all seen the people use this thing. The woke up this morning, but my mind stayed on Jesus.
Mhm.
I just did a YouTube this morning. Woke up this morning, my mind stayed on the booty. So I'm gonna share it. I'm gonna share it with you, so you can share it with Ms. Brown and Ms. White and
Can you text me that link?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay,
I'm gonna
text
text
me
you my
that link.
YouTube. I'm trying to get a YouTube presence, so I'm gonna text you my YouTube link. But I was having so much fun with that. So yeah. So if you can follow me on TikTok or
Tic Tac.
TikTok or Instagram, Facebook. But anyway,
Okay.
I'm gonna share that with you. I'll send
Okay,
it to
I
you.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right, ladies. Well, I'm gonna let y'all get back to your evening. Like I said, this call has been recorded. I will have it where other people can see it, and hopefully it helps someone else. Okay.
Thank you so much.
All right. Y'all have a good night.
Good night.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.